everybody. Welcome back to Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home. We're going to do a straight shave today, kind of a luxury straight shave. I have done a video on this before, but we're going to kind of reiterate some things as well. So let's go over the cast of characters for today. Today we are going to use our Koraat. This was a custom-made razor that I received. A Koraat Ice Dragon. And as you can see, this is a full-bellied hollow, 6/8. With the dragon themed scales, and this is in a pattern steel zebra Damascus. For the brush, we are going to be doing the Koraat matching brush in the Ice Dragon, and this has got a High Mountain Manchurian White Badger. For the soap, which we're going to talk a little bit more about, I'm going to be using Boellis Panama. This company has been around since 1924. It's an Italian-made soap. And then for the aftershave and EDT, we're going to be using the Boellis Panama Daytona for both. And what's neat about the aftershave on the Daytona is it's in a spritz bottle, which you don't find too often, so it's already got a built-in atomizer. And then, of course, all the other accoutrements that we use normally. So first off, let's talk about Boellis Panama, if I'm even pronouncing that right. It's a company that's based out of Naples, Italy. Very fantastic soap. Now, when you first buy it, it comes in this huge brick, and it's full. I mean, it's all the way to the edges in most cases, and it's 200. I believe it's 250 grams, and I've had this for quite some time, and I'm not even halfway through it. So what I did is, just for ease of lathering, because the box is cardboard and you don't want to get that wet, and I don't bowl lather, so I don't scoop anything out, is I repurposed an old shaving bowl and just cut off a big chunk and smushed it into the bowl. So it works out real well for lathering. I would say it's a semi-soft soap. Probably the closest comparison that I can make would be Cella. Now, it does not have the cherry type scent that a lot of people get of it. I think that I've heard, depending on how you take in the scents, that a lot of people think that Cella smells like almonds. Some people say that it smells like cherries. And then one of the biggest ones that people say is it smells like Dr. Pepper. Now, unfortunately, because it's almond-based, some people have a reaction to that. Now, this is more typical, old-school Italian almond. It's wonderful. It doesn't have very much. It's maybe got a hint of a cherry scent, but there's obviously no cherry in it. So it's a very nice soap. It just doesn't get a lot of play on the internet. And I don't know if that's because of the cost or anything else. Where the Daytona version of the aftershave and EDT are more of a typical Italian citrus, perfect for summer. So again, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody got through the 4th of July weekend well. Now this knot, which is a High Mountain, is set a little bit low, so it's a little bit firmer. I'm not sure exactly how low it's set, but I believe the source of the knots is the same as Saponificio Veracino, so it's a very soft, luxurious knot. In fact, a few years ago, Saponificio Veracino and Koraat Ulrecht, I believe he's somewhere in Europe, had a collaboration where there was some razors that were collector's items, and they were part of a series for famous people in Italian history, and I have one of them. I missed out on the other one, but the one that I do have is the Leonardo da Vinci, and it is just typical Koraat. It's just a beautiful, beautiful razor, and this one's done just so well. And this, once again, it's a full-bellied hollow, so that's nice. The soap will take a ton of water. Feels very soft and luxurious on the face. If you do have a sensitivity to the almond-based soaps, I would definitely do a test on your arm before using this. But as I said, this will take a ton of water. So if you like your lather thicker for DE shaving, or like just a little bit wetter for straight razor shaving, it's perfect. It's been a while since I've shaved with this razor, so I got to be a little bit extra careful because with that full-bellied hollow, the angles are very, very critical. This one might need a little bit of a touch-up. It's not bad, but I had lent this to one of the members, UA Cowboy on the cadre, and he had indicated he thought it was just a tad bit tuggy. And I wouldn't call it tuggy. I would say it just needs a little bit of a refresh more than anything else. One thing about the full-bellied hollow is not only is your angle of attack extremely important, but your lateral movement. That's why I always try to lock my wrist and use the elbow as a fulcrum. Because with any of the Koraat razors, or any really full-bellied hollow, because that's going to give you the thinnest blade exposure, is going to be critical for both pulling down on the razor and then of course your lateral, because if you come in and you touch down with the razor pointed out, you'll definitely cut yourself. So I tend to be a little bit more methodical with this razor. Okay, and we are going to, because of the little bit of tugginess, I am going to strop it 5 and 5 between each pass. And it was stropped 30 and 60 prior to. Well, actually, it's not that bad. It mowed down things pretty well. For those of you that have asked, my recovery is going okay. My first follow-up visit with the doctor went okay. However, my optimism of trying to get back to the shop, and I may have mentioned this before, on the 14th of August, the 14th of July, next Wednesday, is not going to be realized. There's still some issues with stability, standing for too long without moving around. And I'll notice that at the end of this shave, that I'll need to take a little bit of a break. But, so it looks like another 5 weeks before I can get back to the shop. And that's simply because I'm standing for 13, 14 hours a day, and I don't want to take any chances, nor does the doctor. Although I do the scything technique with all my razors, I find that the scything technique with a full-bellied hollow is extremely efficient. But again, because it's a full-bellied hollow, you have to be extremely careful. And for those of you that are members of the cadre that are considering straight shaving, or those that are straight shaving that want to brush up on some skills, in the tutorial section, I have a 6-part straight shaving series from beginner to advanced that goes over all the techniques and the timing and everything else. It's about a 21-week process if you go through the whole thing, but it'll give you the best jump on that mythical 50 to 100 straight shaves before you start feeling comfortable. Strap 5 and 5. So, and for those of you that are not members of the shaving cadre, if you look on my channel further back, it's basically straight razor shaving 101 through 105 or 101 through 106. I made them a few years ago. And you'll notice that I'm using a little bit of flannel from an old shirt. I actually learned this trick from Dr. Matt, who's actually a resident of the same city as I am. It works really well. In fact, his daughter, I believe, was selling these little squares. But any old flannel will work. Just wet it, and you can really outline where you want to shave. Looks like I did have a little bit of a touchdown, but I'm not sure. Doesn't look like it's bleeding. So for you straight razor shavers who've never looked at a Koraat, definitely worth looking at. The one thing I love about his razors is that he now has a budget line, which is relative, of course, but he does have a configurator, and there are more options, and that's how I built this one. There are more options on how to build a razor. Turnaround time is fairly quick. However, with COVID, obviously, there may have been some changes to that. Yeah, I think the razor could use a little bit of a touch-up, so I'll do that. A little bit more cleanup than normal, but not overtly terrible. And I may be being a little tentative with this razor because, as I said, it's been a while since I've used it, and I know the damage it can do. And I definitely do not recommend doing the flat blade technique with any type of straight razor until you feel that you're experienced enough, because, you know, putting the blade of the razor flat, just any lateral movement, especially on a well-sharpened razor, is going to open you up like a piece of salmon sushi. So you want to be very careful with that. And it's not a necessary technique. I just find for me it works much better. So nice shave. I would call this one BBS. Not quite DS BBS, because I do think that that razor does need a little bit of care. In fact, I'm gonna break my own rule here and do a little bit of neck cleanup with a DE, because I just felt it needed. Okay, the big thing is going to be, as far as pressure and everything else, to see how well this alum hits me. And really, it's not that bad. A little bit of a sting, but not much at all. In fact, the other day, I didn't videotape it, but I shaved with my Weber PH Classic. And it's a little bit more aggressive than I remember, and I nailed myself a few times. But the alum hit was pretty intense. But this one, not bad at all. So while we're finishing our post-shave, let's talk a little bit about the aftershave from Boellis. Of course, Thayers Cucumber. I'll let that dry a little bit. So as I said, the Thayers, or excuse me, the Boellis Panama Aftershave, which is really cool, comes in this aluminum bottle. And normally this is reserved for EDTs, and most, probably the most recognizable one would be Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche. But it's very nice, and it's a good spray. So you can do a couple things with it. You can either spray it into your hands and go from there, or spray it directly on your face. I usually spray it in my hands because to me an aftershave needs that, but that's up to you. But it's a very thin mist, so you may need a couple of spritzes. And this has got a wonderful, clean, bright, citrusy green. It would be a good accompaniment to Panna Crema Verde, but just a wonderful, wonderful aftershave. And it, like I said, it works real well. What we're going to use for our talc today is, staying with the Italian theme, our Borotalco, because it's a very neutral smelling and very nice on the face. And again, we'll be using the Boellis Panama EDT, the Daytona. And the one thing I love about the Daytona is it's a very clean, fresh scent. The presentation is wonderful as far as the quality. I think that the EDT is a little bit more citrus, lemon lime forward, but it sticks around, which is really nice. So, well, that's it, guys. I certainly appreciate you joining me at Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home. Don't forget to check out our forum at www.theshavingcadre.com. I hope you folks enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Take care.